I am excited to be back. So if you all didn't know, well, first off, welcome to MCR if you are new. This is Morning Coffee Review. This is meant for all of you in the community and built around you asking questions about Bluebeam. We have a topic. Today we're going to be talking about Max. We'll cover what Max is included with in terms of what you'll be able to get with it, what was released at Unbound. There's been a lot of talk about it. I did a video already about this, but I feel like it's been a month and people may want to know and have seen a bunch of buzz over the interwebs. So I felt that it would be perfect to talk about that. We'll also talk about Japan. I was on my sabbatical here at ATG. They give you a month-long sabbatical after you've been here for 6 years. I took the first week, which I probably shouldn't have done it this way, but in terms of never relaxing, I took the first week off prior to departing to Japan. So you may have seen a little bit of a difference between our LinkedIn posts. That was intentional. But the first week was all about getting my backyard in order. So if anyone has a large enough backyard and loves plants like I do, there was a lot of work that was neglected. And I don't know if it was neglected just because I knew I was going to have a sabbatical. Probably, but I didn't do much of it like the beginning of this year in February. Essentially what happened is in February, we did a home remodel. Most of you probably know that. We remodeled our master bathroom and there's a bunch of boxes on our side yard and I just never took care of it. Knowing that I would have a sabbatical towards the end of the year and I would probably take care of it then. So we ended up taking care of that. Well, I did. And then we had some plants die off. Ficus nitida in our backyard. They died because of water. I had an irrigation leak, which I didn't find out till my sabbatical. And I woke up early one day to go out in the backyard and do some work. And there was like a square of grass being watered. And I didn't realize what it was. And it was a leak. So I fixed it. Anyways, so I did a bunch of backyard work. And then before I left, if you all didn't know, I do have and I don't typically mention this either, but I'll mention it, a channel for aquascaping. So I love aquascaping. So I did a bunch of content before departing to Japan. I left to Japan on Saturday. My wife and I did, and we landed in Japan on a Sunday. So you lose a day when you're flying to Japan from the States because you're traveling forward in time. And then when we landed there, we were there for 11 days, 10 days, basically, because we lost a day, unfortunately. But you gain a day when you come back, which is pretty wild. So we left at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday and landed 8 p.m. on a Wednesday here in Phoenix, which is pretty wild. And you're probably like, what's Michael doing? I'll share. I'm laughing because it's a ton of photos that I'm like scrolling through to get to the beginning part. And yes, that's an old photo of me when I used to do rock climbing. So if you didn't know, let me scroll up. I did a lot of filming now that I do content creation for aquascaping. So I'm sorry. Let me scroll through. So the beginning of my sabbatical was all about, as you see, some thumbnails, some Uncrustables here. If I can get past my aquascaping stuff, was this. So we did a bunch of stuff for the backyard. There was a huge storm that wrecked my banana tree. Here's Pebbles watching the storms. This is my cats. And then as you scroll down, this was the dumpster that I was like, I think I bought too big of a dumpster and it was just too much space. As you scroll, did some content as I was saying, and then we departed to Japan, started packing stuff, some more content stuff. And then as you look, we departed to Japan. This was the flight food. This was Hawaiian Airlines. It was actually really good. And then on the way back, it wasn't really good because you realize how good the food is in Japan. The sun was over, but it was overcast. So we started flying into Japan here. Again, the quality, just so you're all aware, isn't the best until you download something local from iCloud. So just be aware of that. Um, so this was the fly into Japan here and just looking at the city and being super excited about Japan overall. And then as we scroll down, welcome to Japan. We went through the airport. This is the first experience. This is what you walk into when you're in Japan. This sign basically was what you walked into. And then we had to figure out the trains. So just so you're aware, for all of us, there's a ton of TikToks and Instagram. I don't have a TikTok. My wife does. And she basically was saying that this is going to be one of the hardest things to figure out. The metro train station for anyone that's in the industry, just so you're aware, for us in the industry, super simple in my mind. Basically, they have circles for destinations of what trains you're going to take. So us here in Arizona, you may be in a metropolitan area if you're going to be traveling to Japan, like Chicago or New York or something like that, or even Washington. They had train stations. We don't have them in Phoenix. The super simple though in Japan. Basically, they have a circle that says like which rail line you're going to take. And then you find that rail line, and then it tells you the platform. So you either go platform 1, platform 2, 3, or 4. Super, super easy transit. That was my biggest worry, though, was I was expecting it to be harder transit. People have said that they'll at least once you'll get on the wrong train. We didn't get on the wrong train once while we were in Japan. And again, coming back to full circle to being in the AEC industry, transportation, understanding design and intent, I think led me to believe that travel in transit's super simple. So we stayed over Tokyo Station. I'll bring up a map here to give you guys an overview because I know we're all maps people too. Don't worry, we'll talk about Bluebeam as well. That was the intention today, but some folks wanted to see what Sabbatical looks like in Japan. But so basically we flew in to Haneda Airport, which is down here. So when we flew into the airport, and I looked at the maps before I left because I think that's what you should do to kind of get yourself familiarized with an area. The Haneda, where's Tokyo? There's Tokyo. The Haneda Airport is somewhere down here. Well, anyways, it's somewhere over here. And then you take the rail line up. Where is it? H&D. Why can't I just get... Oh, there it is. Why does it look not like an airport until you scroll in? I guess I'm so far out. So we flew into here, and then you had to take the rail line up and over to Tokyo Station. So Tokyo Station's right here. It's next to the Imperial Palace. I have some photos of the Imperial Palace, but basically right here is Tokyo Station. And then if you look out right, that's towards the Imperial Palace, which is further. But you take the transit, so you take the train. The public transportation is out of this world. The effectiveness, the efficiency of it, and the culture in Japan is you're quiet on buses. If you've never met me before in person, I'm a very talkative person. So I was sitting there talking to my wife the whole time, and she just kept staring at me with this glare. And finally, when we got off the train, I was like, "So what's up? Everything okay?" And apparently, because she watched a bunch of information about culture and things of that nature, you're not supposed to talk on trains. So I didn't realize that. So our whole first train ride, I was talking, and you're not supposed to. But public transit, if you're on a public train, the common culture and courtesy is you're quiet. So, anyways, we took the this line over to the Tokyo station. Our first spot we stayed was right here, and underneath the station is a whole city. And the only way to describe it is to kind of show you. So we were here. This is above. This is the actual station. The JR line, which is the more effective train line that runs on the top, goes to the other metropolitan cities, I guess you would say. So like Shinjuku, Shibuya. But underneath are a bunch of train stations. And then they have a metro line as well. But basically, as you look underneath it, this is exactly what you see. Basically, you see, I should probably look at this because I can kind of see it. You just see a bunch of shops. And this is all substation. It's like 3 levels. And you can just see a bunch of food. So we got there and we were hungry. So we went and looked at the snacks. It was my first like real experience of Tokyo. So then we woke up at our hotel and we ended up going through, and I saw this garden in the morning, which it wasn't open until like 10 or something like that. But there was a bunch of urban landscape of gardens above and trees and systems through a lot of them. So this was at the hotel. So they had this observatory garden that you could go to, but it was closed, so we didn't go this first time. And then this is our breakfast. Typically, people ask like, "Hey, we had one breakfast." Typically, all of our breakfasts were at 7-Eleven, gaining that experience. Basically, you get these squeezable. If you have any kids, you know they have like those applesauce squeezables. It's like that. I didn't realize that you're supposed to get juice with it. And I did at the end of the trip. It was like vitamin C stuff, but you squeeze these into ice that you purchase. And this is a table. So if anyone didn't know and hasn't been to Japan before or looked up stuff, they don't have trash. So when you purchase food, things from like 7-Eleven, or you're having breakfast, you eat in place or you go to somewhere to eat, right? Like you've purchased food. There's a bunch of people when we were stopping at a 7-Eleven for lunch that were office folks, right? They were in business suits and they were essentially grabbing food to go and eat in the office, but you don't eat on the go. So that was something that's different for us here in America. You're drinking coffee, you're walking around, you have a snack or something like that. So this was my first experience of, I need to eat here, and then throw everything away because there's a trash in 7-Eleven. And this was a family mart, which is kind of like 7-Eleven, but that was my first real experience of we got to eat now. Okay, so yeah, here's a video of basically, I didn't know my wife was doing it because she watched a bunch of TikToks. I didn't know, I just drank it. And this was banana, so I got potassium because it's like, we're going to be walking and some hydration. And she got some energy with some vitamin C, which I ended up doing for the rest of the trip was this hydration, vitamin C. But they give you these little like glass tinctures, I guess you'd say. And there's a bunch of different ones that you can get. But we got vitamin C. And then I got turmeric one time for like inflammation because my knees started to hurt. I was doing about 25,000 to 30,000 steps a day. And just to give you all like reference, we've been to Disneyland before and I was only doing like 18,000 steps there. But anyway, so you purchase ice, you pour that in, and then you pour this like gelization, I guess, things into there. So let me see. Is anyone commenting? Yeah, there's always more stuff, but most people aren't engineers, AEC professionals. Thanks for 7-Eleven. Yeah, 7-Eleven, like a Target. So in reference, I was talking to my wife last night. I was like, so there are some places we didn't film. And the reason behind it was when you're in there, you don't feel like comfortable just like filming everything about it. And you don't think about doing it at that moment in time because you're enjoying the moments and times. So the best reference to 7-Eleven there is not to our Target. It would be to like a Safeway, but in a condensed space. They just have everything you need to go in convenience, able to go. I'll show you a smoothie one. Yeah, it's nothing like what we have here. I was telling my my wife and I keep waking up and we're like, oh, we just wish we can go to 7-Eleven. The 7-Eleven in reference to what we have is like a Safeway, but in a condensed, or like a grocery store in a condensed manner, with fresh made food. So the one thing I took away from Japan was there's not a lot of preservatives, and even their sweets, because I like sweets as well. So like a picture over here, everything is not condensely coated in sugar. Um, I got banana bread when I got back from a coffee shop, and they just put sugar on the outside of the bun of the bread itself. I'm like, in Japan, you don't, it's not condensely over sugarized, I guess is my term. But anyway, so we walk out of the Family Mart. This is Tokyo Station. So as you look around, our first stop, if you all didn't know, we liked anime. So we went to Anime Street, and this is underneath, again, that station. There's just so much to it that I didn't realize when you're looking at Google Maps, kind of mapping out everything. There's so much to Japan, and this is just one part of it. This is all the anime stuff. If you're into that, if not, we'll scroll quickly through it. But these are all the little shops that are just literally below Tokyo Station, which is their main station. And the planning behind it, the efficiency behind it, the signs, even though there's a lot in Japanese, of course, because we're in Japan. And if you all didn't know Brian Weeks, so I ended up sending him some pictures because I ended up getting him something while I was there. Then they had Fresh Food Mart. So we had this the first day for lunch. There's just tons and tons of food that's all made fresh there that you can purchase. So we ended up getting some sushi before we continued on our day. So here's the top of our hotel looking over the train station. So this is the JR line. And then below is like the metro lines as well. So here's Tokyo Station. Again, the main station. And then behind me, if you can think in reference, what I'm looking at is I'm over here looking at the Tokyo Station. So that's the image that you see here. And right behind it is the Imperial Palace, which we didn't go to. We didn't have time. Trust me, if you ever go to Japan or you decide to go to Japan, which I highly recommend, figure more time in. Okay. So after that, we'll scroll through. We went to Shibuya first, I believe that's where we were. Again, some city streets here. As you look at the Shibuya street, oh, sorry, I probably shouldn't scroll quick. But as you look through Shibuya street, there's just these condensed cities, and they have a mix of older buildings and newer buildings. And then we saw some cats. So if you guys are cat lovers, we stopped at a cat shop as always while we were there because we just passed by. And then some more anime stuff. So we went to some Pokemon Center. Here's some more streets. Here's a 7-Eleven. 7-Elevens are everywhere, and I didn't realize it, but they were open 24/7. Pokemon, yes. Okay, so we have some Pokemon folks. Great. Yeah, so we went to the Pokemon shop in Shibuya. It was a little bit harder to find, but the great thing about the Japanese culture is they help you no matter where you're at, and they don't help you in the sense of like pointing you in the direction. It was definitely new to me. They walked you to where you needed to go. So here's some more street view. Just looking at the overall street of Shibuya. Again, urban environment, tons of trees, even in a big metropolitan area. So if you look in reference to where we're at, we traveled up and around to Shibuya, which is, it's like up in this area up here. So it was only a 20-minute train ride to go over here. Super easy and effective and efficient. Again, the train systems were out of this world. and just effective and clean. So if you look at any of these videos, there's no trash anywhere. The ground has like no stain marks from like people spilling, because again, people aren't eating and walking. I took some pictures of construction sites here as well. This is for some drilled pier systems they were doing. And then the Shibuya crossing, if anyone hasn't seen it, this is the Shibuya crossing. Again, the video quality, I'm sorry, there just isn't the best here. But yeah, this was like, I think like, what was it, 7:30, 7:03 there. I don't know if it was our time, if they transferred it or not. But yeah, this is Shibuya crossing here. And then some more stuff. We ended up finding this really cool place. So we were walking around in Shibuya for dinner one night, and we ended up finding this like hole in the wall place. I had my first experience with raw egg, which typically I only have with brownies. So maybe some of you had experienced that before, but this was my first time you eat raw egg a lot with rice. Okay, so we took our train to then Shinjuku. So this is a shrine. So they have a lot of mixed urban environment. So we took the train up this way. So Imperial Palace up to Shinjuku, which is up in here. Yep. So this is the Meiji Junu. So this is where we went for the like second day. So if you look at the urban environment here, and how was I doing this? I think I was doing it in 3D. It's just immense. The culture of high sky rises, to then you have urban kind of environment where they create preservation. We actually walked through this garden area, which has a fresh spring up in here, which you'll see me looking at, is immense. So just right across the way, you have urban high rises, right? And then you have this preservation of a shrine area. And whenever I was walking in these shrines areas, I'm just thinking me more historian person trying to remember what it would be like walking in these areas during that time period, right? So literally as you're walking in these huge old tree systems here, just kind of thinking of what it would be like when you were there. So this is the way they used to package sake. Here are some more shrines. Here's that garden that I was saying with the pond, as we walked through that system too. And then here's that well. So this well used to be flowing more. My wife caught a good picture of me going up to it. And then you go through to the shrine area. We had some fresh food here. Then we went to a Harry Potter place because we went shopping. But again, I saw and took pictures of how you had these large skyscrapers, but then you had these preservations of shops because people didn't want to sell their home or their shop. So you had these large epicenters of skyscrapers right next to these random old shops that you would have during that, I don't want to say Edo period because that was a longer time ago, but, 100-year-old shops. So it's just cool to see the blend of new revivalism, and efficiency, and then compared to any of those. So this is back through Shibuya. No, this is Shinjuku, or I don't remember, wherever the Godzilla head is. And then they had some cool tree systems here, so I was taking pictures of that. This was a new experience here. My wife was telling me that there's this cool like district with a bunch of local bars essentially. So I was like, yeah, let's go check it out. And these are small 2-story buildings that only seat like 5 to 6 people. Yeah, Godzilla was pretty cool. So these buildings you walk around, and I was asking one of the owners. I was like, so is this like where locals go? And they're like, no. It was literally built and not built. They were homes converted into like a district that is more for tourism, but it was still cool to see. And then we left from there. We got our bento boxes. So if you didn't know, and I didn't know, of course, they have your train system. So you take the Shinjuku line, which is the bullet train, which I was looking up a bunch of information about that. The bullet train, by the way, for the past 6 years or so, hasn't had any delays or any accidents. So again, just the efficiency of transportation, I can't drill that in enough, is so different than what we have. But anyways, you get these bento boxes. These aren't the bento boxes. These are the desserts because we got some, of course, for everywhere we were at. But this was the bento box place. One of them, there's many of them. And you can just order whatever bento box you want for the train ride. And then here's the bullet train here that we took to Hakone. We took it back straight from Kyoto to Tokyo. But this was a cool train system. Oh, by the way, the convenience of things is out of this world. So they had this drink system here, which we would typically see as a fridge. And then they had a convenient one where you could just get it like, what do you call those? You get a soda from a vending machine. Don't worry, I remembered. So the top part here is hot. So they've done it where you can get a cool drink or you can get a hot drink. So they had like teas and coffee that were already hot that you could pick up. And then they had a bunch of snacks. And in relevance, just so you all know, like a pricing comparison, like these sandwiches were probably about $2.50 and their drinks were probably about 50 cents. It was the price difference in comparison to what we have was definitely different. So here's a bullet train coming in. Again, look at everything's clean. There's no trash, even the train systems. But since the Shinjuku line has been running, they haven't had any delays or missed times, I guess is what it was, because they're delayed by like a couple minutes, but that's it. Here's the actual train. And then we went to Hakone. So we ended up taking a pretty packed bus to our hotel. So we took bus systems the whole time. This was a rainy day. So as you can tell, the bus was just packed and it was raining and it took like an hour to get to our hotel. So we ended up getting to our hotel. This was our hotel overlooking Hakone. So we decided to go to Hakone, and I would recommend if you're ever going to Japan, we took a break from city life and went over to look at Mount Fuji. So Mount Fuji is here, and we went to Hakone, which is right here. So this is Hakone. So we took a bus system because we got off right here. The bus takes you all the way up to where we were, which is we stayed right here. And you're able to get a view of Mount Fuji, which, by the way, is only viewable for 20% of the year. And we didn't know that. And I was like, we're not going to see it anyways because it's super overcast. We also went to a volcanic area, which just had like steam coming out. And they're like known for their black eggs. I thought I took a video of it somewhere. I think it was here. So they had there's a black egg over there. So basically, it brings like 4 years back on your life or 7 years, something like that, if you eat one, apparently, is the legend. And then they had the volcanic systems. They had this pirate ship, which I ended up finding out was a Viking ship, which we ended up taking the next day. So as we scroll through, we end up taking this the next day, and it's still overcast, right? I'm like, we're never going to see Mount Fuji. This isn't going to be a thing. And lo and behold, when we turn the corner, because we take the Viking ship, it gets you to like this rail line that we took that you could go and look at the volcanic area. So you take this Viking ship to here and then to this shrine here. And lo and behold, when we're pulling out here to go to the next stop to get to the shrine, it clears up. So we actually, and I was talking to a gentleman who's from Tokyo, and he was telling me, he's like, you're so lucky. We saw the first snow cap. So October 23rd of 2025 was the first snow cap of Mount Fuji, and also one of the clearest days to see it. What was the train speed? It was like 500 kilometers or something like that. I didn't look at miles per hour, Chris, but it only took us like 30 minutes to get. It took us 30 minutes to get from Tokyo to here, and then from here to Kyoto, it was an hour and a half, and Kyoto's all the way over here. So from here all the way to Kyoto, which is right here, right here, it took us only an hour and a half. And then by car, it was like 4 hours. So from here to here, it was an hour and a half. And from here to here, it was 30 minutes. It was crazy how quick you were able to travel. So anyways, we saw Mount Fuji. You all saw Mount Fuji for the first time. And then we went to the typical shrine here. Scroll past these selfies. So there was a ceremony happening at the shrine. So you actually wait for like an hour. Apparently it's longer for some lines, just so you can get a photo. And then there's this sign. I thought this sign was pretty cool. Realization of it says, please take a commemorative photo with 3 minutes. Please cooperate. And there was something before. We reserve the right to close this down if you do not follow the rules. So it was hilarious that, come on, you're here traveling, embrace the culture and be nice, right? But they had this sign, and then again, just the environment here was amazing. So we end up seeing a ceremony. Apparently, folks do this. It's a wedding for some locals, so they were getting some pictures taken at the shrine. So we took our picture, and then some videos, and then some edited videos, and then we scrolled forward. We'll go quicker because we're spending way too much time on this. We'll go to Kyoto. So here's Kyoto. Here's one of the marts here. Again, fresh food everywhere. This was a strawberry place. We ended up stopping first, fresh strawberries, but there was like fresh seafood. You can get like custom chopsticks made. It was really cool. Urban environment again with some greenery, which is pretty cool. And you scroll past, we had a tea ceremony. You'll scroll past tea ceremony, some more shrines. We had our first omakase for beef. And then this was that 7-Eleven, again, to give you some comparison. Here's like the fresh smoothie machine. You just buy like a frozen smoothie and it mixes it all for you. It's pretty cool. And then we went to the bamboo forest, scrolling quick. Sorry, I guess I took way too much time explaining the front part. Just brought back memories. There's this cool garden area that no one really goes to in the bamboo forest because it costs like 100 yen, 1,000 yen, sorry, which is like the dollar right now is 156 yen to the dollar. So it was what, like $10, if that, $9. And then we went to the Golden Palace. Again, all bus systems. So we took the bus here in Kyoto, is more bus versus train systems. We took the train system in the bamboo forest. And then we had the best ramen we've ever had was in Kyoto. And then I woke up early one day, 5 a.m. apparently is the time to go. And I didn't realize how close we stayed to this in Kyoto. I forget the name of the shrine. But basically, we were staying in the Gion district, which is like an old mixed metropolitan area. Not metropolitan, sorry. It's an old mix of old buildings, like 100-year-old buildings, and then you walk to the epicenter city here, which is all new design, newer. But the shrine was right, so we stayed right here, and I didn't realize that we were only this close to this major shrine until I realized it when I looked up how do I get there. I'm gonna get up at 5 a.m. So I was there at like 6:25 ish. I got up at 5:30. And there were still people there. I guess that is the time. And then there was the ability to take a photo there without anyone in the street. So there's me waking up, having someone take a photo. Apparently, this was a big place as well to take a photo, but you can see the old style baguettos that they had as well. Okay, scroll forward. Some more shrine stuff. This was me going up to some areas, knocking that out for the day. So then we can go shopping instead of the shrines, which is what I was looking for, more of the historic design of a lot of these buildings as well. A lot of stuff. So kind of keynote, if you want to go to Japan, we went to TeamLabs, which is the biggest TeamLabs in Kyoto, and it just opened up. This is a immersive environment and probably one of the coolest places I've been, with a bunch of different things you can go through and do, which was just astounding from the building. I was like, there's 3 stories. We spent 3 hours here. You were able to create your own art. They would scan your art, and then your art would show up. So here's my terrible turtle, which I was sitting there. I'm like, this is going to be the best turtle ever. And it ended up not being the best turtle. My wife did a seahorse. I was looking for a jellyfish, but they didn't have any more jellyfish. So this is so cool. So you draw it, and it's a living art forever there. And then you scan it, and now it's part of the living art. So you make your own, and now it's literally everyone's art is just live there. There's my seahorse. So that was really cool. Some more district stuff, food, and then the Shinjuku line back. So here's like a video of, if you're asking how fast it was, a video of how fast we were going through the cities to get back from Kyoto to Tokyo. It was only 2 hours back from Kyoto straight to Tokyo. These are like the suburbs when you're passing through farmland and cityscape. What we would see as like small developments. And then we went to the fish shop. So this is where they had goldfish in different kind of like environments. It was like an aquarium art, I guess is what the place was called. And scroll past this. So this is the city at night. So we went to Shibuya Sky, which is a well-known area. And just city at night. Pretty cool to overlook Tokyo as well. I wish you could see this in 4K, but you can't because it's all stored. Then we went to aquascaping shop. So Japanese culture is the first known aquascaping shop. Here's 7-Eleven. So this is what it looks like from the outside. Here's some more drinks and stuff, and then our bags packed to come back. So that was our Japan trip. It was probably one of the coolest trips ever. Highly recommend it. If you have any questions and you're traveling to Japan, feel free to let me know and I will fill you in. And then I had a week back. When I was here, I went back to work, not back to work, but doing my grass. So if you all didn't know, Arizona, and I've talked about this plenty of times on MCR, it is a winter rye season. So I got to work on my backyard again. I got it all ready before I left and laid my winter rye for it. So that was my sabbatical. I missed all of you. Hopefully you watched a lot of my videos on LinkedIn. I was hoping to fill you in and kind of take you along for the ride. and enjoy that as well. So hopefully you found that informative. The landscape, the culture, the cleanliness is definitely completely different than what we experience. A lot of folks were worried that we didn't know any Japanese, except thank you and hello and good afternoon. But the culture was very receptive to travelers, especially for the amount of travelers, by the way. I was talking to my wife while we were there, and I was just astounded by how many. We were in big travel areas, but they embrace it, and they were definitely receptive. We never had a rude moment. Okay, so let's talk about updates. The trip, did you plan and wing it? We planned a lot of it. Not a lot of it got executed. I have a whole travel doc that if you want it, a 10-day trip that my wife made. I helped a little bit. And typically I am a planner when I travel, but I planned the hotels and got those all booked. My wife planned the activities, and then I added to the activities of what I wanted to see. So if you want that 10-day trip, 11 days total, I can send them to you for an 11-day trip. I just would recommend Hakone for more days. So having a city life, big metropolitan area, we needed a longer break. So Hakone was more forest relaxation versus busyness, walking every day, going and seeing as much as you could. And if we had one more day there, it would have been a better break in between. So I just would recommend, if you get the list and you want the list, I'd be more than happy to send it over to you. Taking one more day in Hakone. And the days, some of the days we did wing it. Like one day we went to a pancake shop for breakfast and didn't do any of the shrines. So that's why I knocked out a bunch of the shrines in the morning one day, because we had done stuff completely different that day. So a lot of it, we hit some of the major things, but didn't do a lot of the macro mini things in between. There's just so much to see. You could spend way more time there. Yeah. Okay, so Max updates. I can send this to everybody, whoever wants this to have it. I showed this, I don't think I showed this last time, but basically these are what was announced at Unbound. So you have Bluebeam Max was announced, and there is no price yet. So the price will be released. Their target date was Q1 of this next year. And again, that's a target date. That's not a for sure date. What will be released in the Max platform, which is an additional cost, just so you're all aware. It is not the complete tier. It'll be a new tier, will be the Magic Wand with the 3 different commands, that is duplicate, offset, and change markup. Then you have stitching, which is for, I felt it was more for civil design. And David, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if you think it could be more than that, but I think that was more geared towards civil stitching, a large civil layout design set. But that's what the stitching one was. Firmus, which is AI plan check and AI match, which I just did a training yesterday on Bluebeam, and I had talked about that because we were doing like the Control-Shift-V overlay. But this one is definitely top bucket list for things that I'm really looking forward to check out, along with the MCP connection. But yeah, you have AI plan match and AI plan check. They're going to mix the Firmus solution, because Bluebeam purchased it, into the platform, but the dashboard of the information will be still through the Firmus web browser, is what I was told. Revit link. So there is a Revit link, just for all of you that aren't aware. You can have live markup, and you can change statuses in Revit as well, in 2D and 3D. So this is a huge game changer as well. I talked to Luca in communities. It will also be priced like a new subscription, so no legacy pricing. If you had a license before the change to SaaS. Okay. Thanks, Doug. So Doug said, talk to one of the, we'll just go with the name because maybe not. Maybe we'll keep it a little bit convoluted there. Basically what Doug kind of got some information is that it's going to be priced like a new subscription. So no legacy pricing, no like, hey, you get some discount because you had complete. It's a whole new pricing. Thanks, Doug. Yeah, stitching isn't available yet, and it will be part of Max. I would love to see how the use case will be for other people in the industry, but I definitely think the industry is more geared towards civil. Did I miss anything? I think David asked me or said something about that I wanted to touch on as well. Most people aren't engineers, AC professionals. Agreed. That's what I wanted to touch on. Navigation through there. While we were in Japan, a lot of folks that we're seeing videos from, I would agree. But us in industry, you're going to have a breeze in Japan. Travel is going to be easy. Navigation is going to be super simple. You all have a leg up. Yes. Oh, I haven't heard similar on stitching. Vince has worked a bit with it. Yeah, I haven't seen the beta. Well, we saw it at Unbound, but think of large corridor systems for civil. Instead of taping them together, was their example on a plan review. To see the overall layout, you can just stitch them together into one large PDF. I think we flood them with thumbs down opinions on that. They'll change it. Yeah, the pricing, I mean, I would agree it would be a great option to have some legacy discount pricing for those folks that have been longtime users of Bluebeam. Personal preference. So hopefully that changes a little bit versus you having to pay full price as longtime users. Maybe you get like a discount for the end of your complete tier license if they announced it at Q1 and you could buy it by like what, Q2. Maybe you don't have to buy a whole new subscription even though you paid for one throughout the year. That would be cool. I don't know. So we'll see. I can see using stitching in architectural, not civil. Yeah. I mean, it'll be cool to see because the AI plan match will be like stitching, but you would use this to review. So when they showed stitching, it was more civil. It'll be interesting to see. We talked about the Revit leak, Anthropic integration. So this is something that I took a lot of keynote into. I do agree that the Revit integration is going to be huge as well. I just don't have it, so I can't show it. But when I think of Anthropic, I was showing this to folks yesterday. So instead of going through and searching for my sinks, and this could be any cost estimating, or even like, hey, dimension or verify my square footage per code requirement. But instead of doing this where you're searching by a visual image and using this tool to do it, and then you going through and looking and verifying and then adding the results and adding this count markup, you can have Anthropic do that for you. And it could be for multiple cost estimating items. So instead of having you count this way, you could have Anthropic do it for you. So that was my big takeaway with the Anthropic, which is Claude. So this, to let you all know, we have about 8 minutes here. We'll breeze through this, but MCPs are the connection between the API and the AI. And the only AI that has MCPs currently is Claude. So Copilot is another AI platform. They do not have MCPs activated yet. And then ChatGPT, owned by OpenAI, they have MCPs. They announced it for their development beta. They just haven't released it publicly for everyone else to use. So it's a connection that understands the language between the API and the AI to give it commands and push information back and forth. Anthropic has it for theirs, which is Claude. So that's why it's only currently with Anthropic. it's not gated by Anthropic. Once Copilot or ChatGPT have MCPs, you will be able to do the same thing with those two platforms. I see a lot more heavy use with those folks that are using Copilot because they're already using it. It's part of their subscription within like a Teams environment. So I see it heavily more adopted then versus you as an end user having to go and pay for a Claude subscription. But if you want to get your time back, $20 a month, which breaks out to what, like 75 cents a day. If you're saving that much time from doing one workflow, you may just buy it already. Okay, so as discussed at Unbound, Michael and I really appreciate how Bluebeam provided the legacy customers. Yes, I talked with Doug about pricing. And then I also talked with their team about your opinions on the pricing. So let me know your opinions because I will tell them all. So feel free to let me know. And also use the communities. Doug has a great post there that you can click on to get to the community post on the cost as well. Can you provide me the Word document for us to share? Yeah, Gary, just shoot me an email and it's going to be the best way for me to track this down. Just shoot me an email and I will reply back with a PDF of this. I'll just create this with the ATG letterhead behind it and I'll send it to you. So just email me. It is Michael. Well, no, it is MECHAVE@atgusa.com. I'll just put it in the chat. I don't know why I'm doing that. Well, for all you on YouTube, if you want this as well, MECHAVE@atgusa.com. And I will email this to you as well. Okay, so what else did I miss? The $8 a year is nothing. It was billed hour for my company. Yeah, the $108. Yeah, the $20 for Claude. It's pretty cheap. It's cheaper. I was looking at my subscriptions on my way home from Japan because I had nothing else to do on a 14-hour flight, and started discontinuing a lot of them. I pay $27 a month for 4K Netflix. I was like, I'll just go. I don't need the 4K. We'll see if I do after it's changed. Through Verizon, you can get HBO and Netflix for $10 with ads. I was like, I'll take that. So I don't have to pay for an HBO subscription as well. Okay. Next one is GoCanvas. So the GoCanvas integration is live. You can get GoCanvas link. So this is for tasks. We have a video on that. Go check it out on YouTube. And it shows the ability to integrate GoCanvas with tasks for field use. This is going to be huge for that implementation for punch lists, I think, and just tasks that need to be completed. I know TV and free stuff on the interwebs before everything started to cost. And then now it's going to be just as much as your cable subscription, which used to be cheaper. And then they got rid of cable. Now it's not cheaper. DocuSign integration. So if you are a user of DocuSign and you pay for whatever their subscription is, you can now link DocuSign to Bluebeam Cloud. So it will be called Bluebeam Web here at some point. If you go and look at the Cloud app, it is no longer Cloud, it's Bluebeam. So Bluebeam Web is what it will be called. If you are Procore users, there's a Procore integration upgrade. So instead of it just being in the submittal platform, which is what they used to have, it is now linked to all of their documents. And new product updates. So Org Admin Pro. So everyone has Org Admin. That's where you manage your licenses. There is an additional cost, $20 per user and it's all or nothing, and you are allowed to manage your studio sessions and projects and turn off access to them as well. There will be use case for this for also analytics on what users are using in Bluebeam to see if they have the right license, is the theory. That is a theory that is not 100%. There was some hints to that when we were talking with Peter about what they're going to expand that to. So it's going to be much more than just that, but Studio Prime is going away. You can purchase Admin Pro. There is a legacy cost for those people that had Studio Prime through the end of December, but that is active. You can get access to this. I will be showcasing this. Jolie will be on, and the new co-host to MCR next week. I'll get more information. She's currently at President's Club for ATG. They are in Mexico, so I'll get more information. She'll be the new co-host. She'll be helping monitor this chat as I try to do both at the same time. And then there's markup for mobiles. So if you have Bluebeam on your app on your phone, I tried it yesterday when I was doing a training. It's not currently active, but basically what you'll be able to do is mark up a PDF and email it or text it back. This will be active. It doesn't upload actually the PDF to Bluebeam Web, so you don't have to worry about that, which you wouldn't worry anyways because you're already sending it over an email to get access to it on your phone. But anyways, you can mark it up in the app as well. And then the intelligent search. So this is active, by the way. I did this yesterday in training. So if you go to your projects and you go to trainings, you go to trainings. I'm going to my training one. You could do this now. So this is working for us that were here or went to Unbound. I don't think it's working for everybody. I can go and search for door, and it will bring up anything that had door in it to the markup level. So it shows you here the files that were part of it. If it was a file named, it would have been brought up as well. But then on the right, it shows you where that containment of that was. So it was a markup that was named with a door part of it. So a markup was found with it. So this intelligent search is part of projects and is also in the Bluebeam web app. And then we have let's see. And then Bluebeam rolls ARM ARM. So that's helping for I think they were saying Apple devices and Service Pros. There's a question about Jason. Jason went back to industry. So if you follow him on LinkedIn, he's back in industry. And I forget where he went. But yeah, he went back to industry. The intelligence search is available with 2.1. Yes. I don't know if everyone has access to it, because if you remember, I didn't have access to it before. It was here and it said it, but it didn't work. But now it works. And I think it was because we went to Unbound. If you remember, they said, you're here, we have all your usernames or whatever email addresses, and we just turned it on for you all. So I don't know if it's active for everybody. But I think when you install it, it says it, but I don't know if it's good to go yet. So thanks, Ben. Let me click the link. Oh, and happy Veterans Day. Thank you all that served. Truly appreciate it. And happy Veterans Day to everyone as well. Let's see. So yeah, I guess it's here. Is available for users in the US region. So in the US region, you can access it. Cool. Thanks, Ben. Alrighty. Well, that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed my quick download for you all. It wasn't quick. I'm sorry it took so long. On my sabbatical, just get really jazzed about talking about my travels, and very thankful for ATG for rolling out the sabbatical program. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed the break. I appreciate every single one of you coming back to MCR after this sabbatical. I posted a little bit recently, if you want to check out my LinkedIn, what has MCR brought to all of you? I would truly appreciate it if you comment and let me know, right? What value has this channel, this community that we've built brought to you all? It truly helps me out. So feel free to go back to that post and comment. Let me know, right? If you are willing to talk about it as well, I would love to have you meet with our marketing team to talk about it too. It would really help us out. So just let me know. And again, appreciate every single one of you. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you all that have served. And I'm excited to be back. I am re-energized. That's what sabbaticals are about. And excited to take this to new heights. Jolie will be back with us next week to be my new co-host for MCR. She is the Bluebeam product manager here at ATG. So we'll be able to talk a lot about the back end. She'll know exactly the right time of when Max will be announced and the cost behind it. So we'll be keeping you up to date with all of that stuff. But again, can't say more than enough. I was very appreciative of all of you while I was gone. I was thinking about MCR and what we're going to be doing with it. So feel free, if you do want a specific topic covered throughout the end of the year, I'm making that list. Feel free to email me. Again, it's mechave@htgusa.com. And we'll look forward to seeing you all next week. Welcome back for all of you. Hopefully you enjoyed the Morning Coffee Review Sabbatical. And I'll see you all next week. Again, thank you, every single one of you.
Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of the other content on our channel.